Mix 106 movie reviews with Mix 106 movie critic Willie Waffle. He sees all of the movies so that you don't have to waste your money on seeing movies, and he lets us know whether or not they're any good. 3 movies for you this week, a couple of highly acclaimed movies that might be up for some awards at the end of the year. You've got Whiplash, also Michael Keaton stars in the Birdman, and then, of course, the movie that everybody wants to see, everybody's talking about, Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1.
It's time to get ready for a whole lot of waiting for the next movie to come out.
I hate when they split the last book.
Yeah, it's the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1, and that Part 1 is kind of mocking you, isn't it? It's just screaming out, guess what? There's another part of this movie that's going to be a whole lot more exciting.
You know, I would say that I would be more disappointed that they split it up, but The Hobbit made it okay for me.
Well, and that's what it feels like. It feels like The Hobbit. It feels like The Lord of the Rings, where this is the filler movie. And it's good filler, but it's filler. So, there's not much else happening here. You're not going to get any big story revelations. You're not going to get any big character developments. It's just, hey, Katniss is back, and, well, she's messed up just like she was in the last movie.
And the book is like so exciting, but guess what? It's because it got the end part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. The book has both parts in it. This was the beginning part. And it feels like you're being teased. You're being tempted. You're being told there's going to be something really cool happening in Part 2.
Next year.
Dang it!
Listen. You still got a good movie here. I think you have a movie that you appreciate for individual moments more than you do for its totality. So you have some visually stunning sequences. You've got a decent action sequence where Katniss is defending the defenseless. You've got all that going on, and I think that's what's going to kind of hold you over. But I'll tell you what, this better end up just being the bland appetizer to an amazing main course. Because people have been watching these movies and reading these books, they've learned about revolution and rebellion. And if this doesn't pay off, look out.
We're tearing apart the movie theater.
So what do you give it?
I'm going to say 2.5 waffles for Mockingjay Part 1.
I think that's the least you've ever given one of these movies.
Well, because the other two were really awesome.
There's nothing that happens in the first part of this. It's all set up for the rebellion.
There's and they bring back the love triangle. Oh God, the worst part of this whole series.
I've never not even when reading the books, have I ever been able to buy in that Katniss has any attraction to PETA when Liam Hemsworth is in like anywhere in the vicinity.
I know PETA's only 5'2".
It makes no. I'm like, I just have never bought into that.
Yeah, they're both. The two of them are just boring yahoos. She could do better. In the Hunger Games world, there's a Ryan Gosling that she would end up with.
I wanted her to end up with the guy who, from the second one, he was like the star of the Olympics.
Yes, Finnick, played by Sam Coffin.
I can never remember his name. I'm like, why don't you go for him?
So much more of a better choice.
All right, so the other 2 movies that are out are kind of Oscar contenders, aren't they?
Yeah, it's kind of like these indie movies that have been playing around in like New York and L.A. for the past month, and now they're starting to make their way out nationwide, and that starts with Birdman. I think the movie that you've probably heard a lot more about. Michael Keaton playing this kind of 90s action movie star who is just kind of wanting to be taken seriously. So he's taken his money and he's invested in producing a play of this kind of esoteric work that not a lot of people have heard of, and we're seeing the backstage kind of mess that's going on. We're seeing all the pressures he's under, all the things that are happening with the other actors, and it's really awesome to watch because it should be getting the Oscar for Best Directing and Best Editing because it's just seamlessly moving from scene to scene. It almost feels like there's no cuts, there's no segues. You're just kind of walking around with Michael Keaton, seeing everything that's happening and kind of appreciating the pressure he's under, wondering if he's going nuts, wondering if the strain has just become too much for him. And Edward Norton is absolutely awesome.
I love him in everything from the Italian Job to, I mean, like Fight Club. Like, he is awesome.
Well, and there's a lot of meta going on in Birdman, kind of like, Michael Keaton playing a former action movie star from the 90s. Well, we've never seen him do that before. Edward Norton playing this dedicated actor who everybody respects, but he's always dropping truth bombs and trying to manipulate everybody. I mean, there's just a lot of like those kind of jokes going on here, and I think it's just got the most awesome musical score I've heard all year long. I'm going to say like 3.5 waffles for Birdman. I think the buzz is true.
All right, and do you think anybody out of there is going to be up for Oscar nominations for acting?
Well, I think Michael Keaton's going to get nominated. I think Edward Norton's going to get nominated, and probably Alejandro Inarritu will get nominated for Best Director.
Okay, and finally, Whiplash.
Yeah, Whiplash is kind of a cool movie too. It's a story of Miles Teller playing this freshman at a music conservatory. He's a jazz drummer who loves it. He's kind of a prodigy, and he runs into a professor played by J.K. Simmons who is willing to push him further than anyone should ever push anybody, and he's a little bit evil. And so you're seeing this battle of wills. You're seeing kind of all these taunts and these horrible things that J.K. Simmons is doing to him. And you're wondering, is it pushing him for the good reasons, for the right reasons? Will it make him better, or will it break him? And it's an amazing kind of thing to watch. And J.K. Simmons, you might not recognize the name, but he was like the psychiatrist on Law and Order. He's that nice, kindly guy in the State Farm commercials. The kind of the professor in the State Farm insurance.
I never thought he was nice. I love him, but
as an actor, he's awesome.
In Law and Order, I'm like, he's kind of a little. There's a little part of him where you're like, oh, you're just rubbing me wrong. So that's why I thought he was perfect for this.
A lot of wrong in this movie.
Now, is this a Mr. Holland's Opus?
Oh, no. This is like the anti-Mr. Holland's Opus.
So it's not a feel-good movie at all.
No, not at all.
What do you give it?
Yeah, I'm going to go 3.5 waffles on Whiplash.
Wow, too. All right, next week, of course, we're going to talk to you on Wednesday because Thursday is Thanksgiving and all the movies come out on Wednesday.
Horrible Bosses 2.
Oh, yeah, and The Penguins of Madagascar.
Horrible Bosses 2.
There'll be a little bit of something for everybody. All right, we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Willie Waffle.
All right, you guys have a great one.